Welcome everybody to Hearts and Minds Sales Training. And today is the 7th of January, 2026. And our topic today, we're going to go back to one we've talked about last couple of days. So this is part 3 of taking care of your clients. And I want to talk to you about some things that maybe have occurred to you, maybe have not, when it comes to client care. So part of client care, I believe, is not misleading your clients ever. Always being honest with your clients, telling them the truth from the get-go. You know, when someone calls me, and I do mortgages for a living, a lot of times they call and they want to know about interest rate. And a lot of times they have just talked to another lender who's promised them a rate way below, sometimes 2% below the interest rate where it should be, because interest rates don't vary that much from company to company. You may not know that, but it's the truth. They do change depending on the type of home you're buying, the type of loan you're taking out, how much money you're putting down, how good your credit score is. All those things can have effects on your interest rate, but interest rates are pretty much the same from company to company if you're comparing the same program, okay? So when I get a client that calls me and they say, hey, I've been promised this rate, it's 2% less than what you just quoted me, that gives me just a moment to say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Client, do you mind sending me that lender's fee estimate worksheet? And if you don't have one from the lender, ask for one. Because what that does, it breaks down all their fees, and they're supposed to disclose to you how you're getting that rate. Now, I had mentioned in another video the same scenario, and I'm going to talk about it again. So I did have that happen with one client, and they were able to get a fee estimate worksheet from their lender, and everything on that fee estimate worksheet, as you went down the line, it all had a dollar figure assigned to it, right? Except for one line that said 5% discount, and there was no dollar figure attached to it. And it went all the way through to the bottom line of the loan and how much money they were going to have to bring to closing and that kind of thing. But things just didn't add up. That 5% discount was there, but it wasn't reflected in the final amount of money that they need to bring. So I knew what it was, and I wanted to educate my client on what it was. So that 5%, that was 5% of what that the loan amount was going to be. So that 5% equaled $28,000 that client would have to bring, in addition to what they showed on the bottom line of that fee worksheet. They'd have to bring another $28,000 in order to get that low interest rate. And I told my client, I said, they are trying to get you to the point where you get on the bandwagon with them, you sign up with them to do your loan, and what they're hoping is that you don't notice that 5% fee in there. And when it comes down to the 3 days before closing, lenders have to disclose the final CD to you and give you an idea of what money you're going to be spending at closing. And by then, guess what? It's too late to change lenders. And if you try to change at that point, more than likely, you're not going to meet your closing date, and the seller could back out of the sale, or they could sue you for specific performance. So I told my client, I said, it's really up to you. I said, if you want to continue doing business with this company that's promising you this low interest rate, even though they're not telling you the truth, you know, certainly that's your prerogative. But if you want to work with someone who's going to be honest and upfront with you from the very get-go, then I'll be glad to be your mortgage guy. And you know, they decided to go with me, and of course, I disclosed to them what the actual interest rate was, and we did talk about, you know, hey, if you do want a little less of an interest rate, it's going to cost you X number of dollars to buy it down a quarter of a point or a half a point or a full point, those kind of things. And you got to look at it from the customer's perspective. is it really worth it to them to invest that extra money at closing? Because, unless they're going to stay in that house for a while, they may never recoup that money. And I can tell you that from my personal experience. So I bought a house in the 90s, and I financed in 8% to buy my rate down a couple points. And rates back then were like 12%, so I think I got the house for like 10%, something like that. And I felt like I got a deal. But I was only in that house for about a year and a half. And in a year and a half, there's no way I recouped that extra money I paid at closing for that interest rate. So you got to kind of know what your client's goals are. And that's not just talking about mortgages. This could be anything, all right? So if you're talking to your client, maybe they're older people, sure, you may know some two-story houses that are fantastic, but are they the right fit for these older folks who may be going into retirement? And some of them may have trouble. They may not have trouble at the moment, but they may have trouble later on with going up and down steps. You've got to help them make that choice. You've got to talk to them about the benefits and the things that wouldn't benefit them in that house. You've got to be honest with them about these things. If it's a first-time home buyer, and that their family's going to grow and they're looking at a 2-bedroom house, 1 bath, that's not going to sustain them very long if they start having kids. So you need to address that with them, talk to them about that. And I've made the point about the soccer mom coming in looking for another minivan and you showing her a sports car. Is that really taking care of your client? So you need to look at things from your client's perspective. You need to put their needs ahead of your own needs. And let me tell you, it's going to pay you off in dividends later on, because they're going to tell their friends and their family just how well you took care of them, how you treated them with respect, how you are honest in all your dealings. And it does pay off. If you're transactional minded, I'm going to tell you right now, sales is not the right place for you. Okay, because a transactional minded person, they just think about closing that one transaction. But someone who is growing a business and a brand, they look way beyond that one transaction, and they know that client may come back to them for a refinance, like in my case, doing loans. They may tell their friends and family if they're buying property, hey, you need to go deal with Eddie. He'll give you the best deal and he'll be honest with you. So you need to be looking past that one sale and looking into the future, and taking such good care of your clients that they always remember your name and they always remember to refer people to you first. And that's how you grow your business. Well, I hope you gained something good out of this. I hope you understand that taking care of the client's needs is going to get you further down the road in your sales career than you may ever think is possible. And if you're not transaction minded, but you take care of your clients, then you can build a client for a lifetime. And one more quick example I'm going to give you. Sometimes people come to me for a loan and I can't help them. Their credit score is too low, or they don't make enough money. Maybe their income is too low. Something is keeping them from being able to get qualified for the house that they want. I'm going to work with that person and I'm going to put together a plan for them to help them get into a house, hopefully sooner rather than later. But I'm going to lay out a plan. I'm just not going to say, hey, you don't qualify, see you later. Too bad, so sad, too bad for you, right? I'm going to take care of them and help put them on the right trajectory. And this has come back and helped me so many times in my career, because even the people that I can't help immediately will refer their friends and family to me because I treated them with respect. You should be doing the same with your clients. No matter what you're selling, treat your clients with respect and always be honest and forthright with them. And it's going to open up more doors for you in the future. Don't settle for the one sale, because you will put yourself out of business doing that. God bless you. Have a great day.